Welcome to Management 280 Online Organizational Behavior offered by Harper College utilizing Blackboard Course Management System 9.1. My name is Dr. George Mochocki. Well, we made it for another week. Look, in your forums, you're doing well. Most of you, let me just go real quickly. Remember, I update the forums 3 separate times during the week, so I grade them at 3 different times. So the forums were at 15 points. And your first post and you reply to 2 or 3 other students at the same first day when you post, you will get maybe 40% out of 15, so you get maybe like 8 or 7 points. In the middle of the week, when you repost again and you reply to somebody else and you got some quality, not only quantity, with some quality posts, I will upgrade your points again, and then your last post. And your last post could be on a Friday because you already did a Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. You did your 3 posts. Fine, your last post may be on a Friday, but I will upgrade your overall grade on Saturday as your last post. So I'm looking at you did 3 individual different days posting, and each time you posted a minimum of 3 or more posts to students, not just hey, how you doing, good idea, but something with some quality and some substance within it, and you should be well. Remember, within the forums, I've been making comments to utilize the person's first name. The first name in the forum makes it sound more like a business. It's a simulation of a business. So I'm talking to a client, to a customer, to try to build that relationship. I call him the Mr. Mochocki or George. In this case, we know each other, we're a network, so I call them by their first name. It also makes it easier when I'm following the threads on that. Okay, so the first thing what you're going to be doing, this week's chapters. Chapter 6 is on intrinsic motivation. Chapter 7 is an equity and expectations theory. And then Chapter 8 is improvement in performance. Everything you've had already in Management 111 earlier in Introduction to Business on performance and motivation. Now what you have to look, remember, well, I already had that, Dr. Mochocki. What are we doing this again? You are now looking, and when you'll be doing your paper and your research paper, you are looking at it from the perspective of a middle manager that's changing organizational culture, organizational policies at the middle management. So if I want to motivate an employee, what policies must the company have in place to offer the management and employee to have that intrinsic? Is my company set up, my policy set up that my employees are empowered, and are their returns and the performance, we go into performance, does it give it information back so they know how they're doing? Look at this class, you know weekly where you stand at. There's no issue, well, I don't know what kind of feedback, I didn't know I didn't do that grade. You get the grade weekly within the week. So when you really look at it, you look at it, something I want to get in a B, I want to get that A, so you know you got to tighten up a little bit, do a little bit more forums, or look at your homework to get that A. Or you may say, hey, I'm getting a B, wow, that's just good enough, or I can get a C, all I want to do is pass the class. Remember, motivation, I can only enhance you and make sure I have the right triggers to get you to motivate. If I don't have the right triggers, you may want to be motivated, but you don't see that there's any return on that. There's no equity on that. Well, it's not worth all that work for what? For a cup of coffee or something else, or pat on the back. It depends on the individual. Okay, so the intrinsic motivation, you're going to look at job design, and job design, or some of you may be writing about it, is about the job design. How do I design all the jobs within a company that will encourage intrinsic and motivation? What are the motivational approaches in companies at a managerial level? Like, I can't promote them up. We're a flat organization, so you're looking at job rotation. You're looking at Hertzberg's in here from you've read about him in marketing. You read about him, the theory back in Management 111. Look at the hygiene factors. What's a hygiene factor? What are motivators? To look at what's job enrichment, and could a company instill job enrichments? Maybe that may not work in all levels, but a majority of levels where the key work is, where the key production I want to improve motivation as to improve my product, my services, and minimize my expenses. Look at job crafting. Look at how do I cultivate employees from a company's perspective to be motivated, to put in their input on that. And then look at causes for job satisfaction. Remember, if I'm not satisfied with my job, I have a poor attitude, I'm not motivated, I'm just doing enough just to get by. Oh boy. So what happens? my work shows up. My production is down. Everything is it's a domino effect. Okay, so correlation of job satisfaction ties to motivation. So that's chapter 6 from intrinsic. Remember, intrinsics is what I'm trying to do. When you look at Maslow, the hygiene factors, nice to get. You still need the hygiene to get me motivated, but that's only temporary. I still need the basic needs. Now we're going to go in chapter 7, and we're looking at motivation. It's an extension of chapter 6 on equity and expectancy theory. If I look at equity and expectancy theory, I am only going to be motivated so hard or and put so much effort if I think the reward is worth it. And remember, when you look at motivation, what you've learned, every individual is unique. Every individual. I may be motivated for 5 hours. You just going to be motivated for 10 if I'm doing, I may be motivated with a pat on the back. Me, I want my picture in the lights. I want everyone in the whole company to know I got that promotion. So everyone's different. Okay, look at goal setting. How does management by objectives motivate individuals? Look at management action for enhancing goals commitment. How do I bring the employee into that? If I have part of it and I know what I could do, I'm more motivated if I am part of creating the goals and just being told what I need to be do. Look at equity theory, negative inequity, positive inequity, perceived inequity. If I think I treat everybody equally, but for some reason I didn't get the memo, or I see someone else always getting all the rewards, I may feel, well, he likes her better, or he likes him better, and that's why. So I feel inequity or perceived, even though it's not a reality. So if I notice that, or to make sure, I have to say, this is what George did. He did this and this. This is what Sally did. She did all this. Then I can say, well, gee, that's a lot of work. I'm not going to do that. Or, wow, now I see what I have to do to get that raise, and that will motivate me because now I understand what the rules of the game are. Look at expectancy theories, rooms. Okay, so that takes care of motivation. Now I'm all motivated. I've got this. I'm working to keep the motivation going, the flow moving. You basically now have to give feedback, and you get non-traditional feedback, pat on the back, team-based, advanced computer technology, kind of what we're doing with a Blackboard. Feedback is basically to tell me I'm doing the right thing. If I don't get any feedback, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing, so I may not be motivated because, hey, I may be messing up. Now I know it's motivated. I'm getting the positive reinforcement. I'm getting the rewards. I keep on pushing. It's just like someone's doing a task and they're almost at the finish line. What does the team do? Everyone up, go, go, go. You could do it. Okay, so we've got the motivation. Guidelines for feedback. How do I give feedback? It's easy to give positive feedback. Not as easy to give negative or constructive feedback. How do I bring that person in so he doesn't come back there, oh man, the boss doesn't like me. And I'm just going to say, you're doing a great job, but you just got to do a little bit more. Most of you are doing excellent posts, but you only post 2 times, and you only post 4 posts. I'm looking at minimum. When you got a minimum requirement, well, that's all I want to do. That's okay, then that's all I'm going to pay you. It's all the work you're going to do. If you're only going to give me part of the service, don't expect to get the full reward or the full payment. That's what motivation does, right? You do all this task, I will pay you that reward. You do above and beyond, I will give you more for the above and beyond. Okay, so you have that organizational reward system. How do companies create the reward system? Intrinsic, extrinsic. Why do some rewards fail and some don't fail? Look, if I have a good reward to improve customer satisfaction and I have nothing in the whole process to do anything with customer satisfaction, I have no input, that reward means it's useless to me because there's nothing I could do to change it or change the impact on that reward. Okay, so you got respondent, contingency, schedules reinforcement. How often do I tell somebody I did something right? Some things do by, okay, it's a Monday, so I go back and pat everyone on the back. That's not how you reinforce. You reinforce an individual when they did something right. You enforce them right away. They screwed up. I don't want to say slap them around, but you finally kind of say, hey, you got to get yourself back on track. Your job as a manager or within the company is not to fire anyone. Your job is to change your behavior, change their attitude, change their culture, and move the company forward through policies and everything else that you're going to be creating. That's what this whole course is about. So that takes care of in job shaping. So that takes care of our 3 chapters. You have 1 forum, and the forum is how you're going to motivate key managers. You pick a class, whether a class of individual, where it's at work, whether it's someplace you worked at before, and you're looking from a company, a middle manager, how am I going to present these individuals? What motivational policies should I have within the corporation to motivate this class or management. If you're not working, you haven't worked, so look at it. I think I looked at it. How do I motivate students on an online or a face-to-face class? If I would be the teacher and I would be presenting it to other online instructors and looking at how to motivate an individual going forward. So that's your one forum, or 25 points. Okay, now your McGraw-Hill, you have your Connect only on chapter, if I'm mistaken, let's see, on chapter 8 is on your, what do you call it, your feedback and your reward, and your quiz is going to be on chapters 6 and 7. And Blackboard, you're going to have 20 questions worth 30 points, so 1.5 point for each. I'm trying to lighten up all the testing and the quizzes so you can start working on your paper and kind of get a breather on this. But you're doing very well in this class. Make sure you do your posts. Make sure, look, you could do a lot of stuff outside in different times, but the forums, I want you to get used to coming in 3 times a week and responding to 2 or 3 students within that week to get the full point. No different than you would be in a business situation. This is simulation online, and I have to be interactive with my customers, my business, or my manager. Even though I don't have to respond to all of them, I'm still reading, seeing what's going on. That is the virtual office. That is the reality of technology. You'll be reading organizations going forward. Might as well learn how to adapt to this. You've already got the social networks. You've got Twitter. You've got other friends. Just log us in when you're in here, respond it, go back and forth, and the rest of the time, the quizzes and everything else, you're doing well. So I think you're doing very well on this online class, and keep up the good work, and I'll see you in the forum, and I want to see how you're going to be motivating key employees, or if you're an instructor, how you'd be motivating students. I'm always learning. So again, my name is Dr. George Mochocki. This is Management 280, Organizational Behavior. Online, we'll be covering Chapter 6 on motivation, Chapter 7 on expectancies, and Chapter 8 on feedback. And I'll see you in the forum. We got one forum, we got Connect, and you get all the points, and we're on our way. Have a nice day. Bye.